Coming up next, City Net 30 takes you downtown for the weekly luncheon meeting of the City Club of Portland. Live weekly coverage of City Club is produced through the facilities of Portland Cable Access. Now we join the City Club for this week's program.
And welcome you to a very special holiday program. It is the City Club matinee production of Ralph Nelson's Portland, a musical, starring our students from the Kelly Elementary School. And I would like to especially thank the Portland Public Schools Foundation for their generous support of today's program, in particular the First Octave Fund. I'd also like to thank some folks from Portland Cable Access who have done extra service for us today. Tim Rooney, Linda Hawkins, and Emily on the camera today. Also like to introduce a couple of new members today, Anthony Woodcock, who's president of the Oregon Symphony, and Lisa Brown, who's development director for the Oregon Symphony. If you could please stand. Thank you. Thank you. Also, a couple of very brief announcements. There will not be programs on Friday, December 22nd and December 29th. We hope you have a very wonderful holiday with family and friends and a wonderful new year. We look forward to seeing you back at the MAC on Friday, the 5th of January, for our first program of 2001 with a focus on the state of Oregon's economy, featuring state economist Tom Potowski. That again will be here at the MAC. I'd also like to remind you again of this year's annual fund. If you're coming into the end of your holiday shopping, you might want to make a gift to City Club, which is a gift to all of us. Our goal this year is $90,000. We're fastly approaching that target, but annual fund goals are set to be broken, so we would love to go over that mark. And we also have a goal of 100% participation from all City Club members. We still encourage you to think of giving a gift of membership in City Club, and a member of our staff will be very glad to help you with that purchase. And with that, I'm happy to turn the program over to composer and director Ralph Nelson, who will introduce today's production. Thank you.
Thank you. Portland, a Musical was written in 1997, and it was written due to an unfortunate circumstance at Kelly Elementary School in that Kelly lost its music teacher that year. And what you should know about me is that I am married to Mrs. Nelson, who is a third grade teacher at Kelly Elementary, and also a soprano in the Portland Symphonic Choir. And Sue and I decided that we would see if maybe we could do something with her class on Portland history. Now, it's on Portland history because third graders in Portland Public Schools, if you remember back to those days, study Portland history. And so the show combines music and singing and acting, and will tell you the story about our history. And there's a couple of things, but there's one place where I'd like you all to stand when we do the national anthem. Please feel free to stand and sing along. That comes about midway through the show. Well, these are students. They're all third graders from Kelly. Kelly is in the Lentz area around 92nd and Foster, and they would like to tell you now about the history of Portland. Here's Portland, a Musical. Thank you.
Portland was a small town, but it grew and grew. This is a story of a city, our city, Portland. This is a story about how people came and settled in our city and how they built a great city. It is a story about good times and bad times. It is a story about how people like you and me can help other people and make life better for everyone in our city. For thousands of years, native people roamed the area we now call Portland. They belonged to a tribe called the Multnomahs. The Multnomahs lived by a clearing next to a beautiful river they called Willamette, which in their language meant River of Peace. That little clearing was the start of Portland.
In the year 1804, two explorers named Lewis and Clark began a journey from St. Louis, Missouri to reach the Pacific Ocean.
They took on 30 other men and an Indian woman named Sacagawea and her little baby. In 1805, they crossed the Rocky Mountains and traveled down the Columbia River to the ocean.
They had a very difficult trip. They almost starved to death, but they made it to the Pacific Ocean in November of 1805. Then they returned to Missouri in September of 1806.
On April 3, 1806, Captain Clark and 7 other men took a journey down the Willamette River. He was the first American to see the area we now call Portland.
Oh yeah, like these guys really traveled that way. Come on.
Well, according to history, they did.
They have traveled 4,000 miles by walking or by canoe. Nobody can do that. Get real.
It was real, and I bet I can prove it.
How?
We'll read you something from their journals.
They write journals too?
Yes, the President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, ordered Lewis and Clark to write every day in their journals.
Let me read to you what Captain Clark wrote when they were close to Portland. November 10th, 1805. Rained very hard last night and continues this morning. We are all wet, our bedding and many other articles.
November 12th, 1805. All wet and cold. Our bedding also wet. Fortunately, the men are healthy.
November 14th, 1805. The rain continues all day, all wet.
Okay, I get the picture. I guess they were in Portland.
Lewis and Clark told everybody in the East about Oregon. Soon others came and found that the farmland in the Willamette Valley was some of the best land on earth, and they told other people. And by 1843, thousands of settlers were traveling to Oregon on what became known as the Oregon Trail. They traveled with oxen, horses, and everything they owned in the covered wagons. Life on the trail was hard.
There are many dangers. Many people died of diseases, but they journeyed on in hopes of finding good land in Oregon.
Women on the trail had to cook, clean, and sell all the clothes for the family. Sometimes unexpected things happened.
One woman wrote in her journal, "Last night my clothes got out of the wagon and the oxen ate them up."
And then, like any journey, the kids always ask questions.
How did Portland get its name? Well, let me introduce you to Mr. Lovejoy and Mr. Overton. You remember that clearing by the Willamette River? Well, Mr. Lovejoy and Mr. Overton claimed it belonged to them. It probably wasn't fair, but the government in Oregon City sold them the land for only 25 cents.
Well, Mr. Overton, 25 cents for all this land? I think we did quite well.
Yes, we did, Mr. Lovejoy. Perhaps someday some people will build a few houses here. Maybe even a little town. Why, someday there might even be a great city here.
Whoa! Don't get ahead of yourself. There's nothing here but some open land and a river. I mean, this place doesn't have a name yet. What it's just called? The Clearing.
Yes, but we can build a dock for the ships. Then the town will grow.
And Mr. Overton was right. A few houses were built on the spot. But soon, Mr. Overton wanted to leave to go to California, so he sold his other half of the town to Mr. Pettygrove. But he didn't tell Mr. Pettygrove that he'd only paid pennies for it originally.
That's right, Mr. Pettygrove. Only $50 for all this land. Best land in the world. You won't regret it. And for you, I've been throwing all these beautiful trees for free. And you know, free is a very good price.
Well, $50 seems like a lot of money for a town that doesn't even have a name. I don't know.
But that's as low as I can go. And at that rate, I'm saving you a lot of money. And if you don't buy from me today, I can't save you any money.
Okay, Mr. Overton, $50 it is, and not a penny more.
So now the town was owned by Mr. Lovejoy and Mr. Pettygrove, but it still had one big problem. It didn't have a name.
Mr. Lovejoy, this sure is a nice town, but it really needs a name. What could we call this place?
I know. Let's name it after another town. That's what the Pilgrims did when they came to America. They named their towns after towns in England.
That's a good idea. What could we name it?
I know. Let's call it Boston, after my hometown in Massachusetts. And after all, Boston's a great city, and we want this to be a great city as well.
Mr. Lovejoy, I'm from Maine, and we don't think of much of Boston in Maine. I suggest we name it Portland, after my fair city in Maine.
See here, Mr. Pettigrew, I really think it should be called Boston. After all, Boston's a bigger and more important than your teeny, bitty Portland.
See here, Mr. Lovejoy, Portland is a much more beautiful town than your ugly, stinking Boston.
I really think it should be called Boston. That's final.
No, it should be called Portland. That's final.
Boston.
Portland.
Boston.
Portland.
Okay, break it up. This here, there, and you over here.
Hey, I've got an idea. Let's settle this by flipping a coin. Call it
heads.
Well, tails it is.
I guess we'll have to Portland. Hey, how about flipping best 2 out of 3?
No, Mr. Lovejoy, she's Portland, fair and square.
And so the town was named Portland.
By 1850, more and more houses were built. A newspaper was started.
A dock was built and Portland became a major port. Many trees were cut down and the clearing was expanded.
But soon Portland got another name, Stumptown. You see, when the men cut down the trees, they often left the stumps still in the ground.
Well, good morning, Jessica. Isn't it a lovely day?
Good morning, Harriet. I'm so tired of these stumps everywhere in the roads. I wish the men would pull them out.
Yeah, the men are so lazy. All they do is sit and drink beer, and they don't care that no one can walk downtown without bumping into these awful stumps.
And did you hear what other towns are saying about us? Why, we're the laughingstock of the West. They call us Stumptown. The summer of 1873 was very hot, very hot. It was also very dry.
It was 4 a.m. on the morning of August 2nd, 1873. Suddenly a man came running out of a warehouse.
Help, help, the warehouse is on fire. Get the fire brigade, help, help.
The fire spread quickly. All the buildings and houses were very close together, were made of wood, and they were very close together. The firemen tried to put out the fire, but they couldn't.
When the fire finally burned out, 22 blocks had been destroyed.
This event was known as the Great Fire. It changed a lot of things about Portland. More buildings downtown were made of bricks, and they weren't put as close together anymore.
Unlike many other western towns, the people in Portland helped each other.
They helped rebuild the town. They took care of each other.
They looked out for each other, and that's something Portlanders have always done.
Hear that?
Hear what?
I think a train's coming.
They're building the track right now.
Hey, everybody, join us on the next song.
I'm working on the railroad all the live-long day. I'm working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Can't hear the wind blowing, rise us early in the morn. Can't hear the men shouting, time to blow your horn. Time to blow, time
station was completed in 1896. Now people could travel across the entire country from New York to Portland in just 12 days instead of months.
The railroad brought people and goods to Portland. The town grew to over 98,000 by the year 1900.
Buildings began to spring up everywhere. Bridges like the old Morrison and Hawthorne bridges were built soon. Houses sprang up on the east side.
A trolley system was built so that people could travel downtown.
Because boats had to go up and down the river, all the bridges were drawbridges.
So people like to watch the bridges go up and down. Everywhere downtown, theaters were being built. By 1900, there were grand luxury theaters all along Broadway Avenue in Portland. There were no TVs or radios at this time, so for entertainment, everybody went downtown and saw a show.
Are you going downtown today, Julie?
Why, of course, Lisa. I'm going to ride the trolley downtown and see that new play at the Orpheum Theater.
But that's the most expensive theater in town. Why, I heard it cost 5 cents to see the play there. I'd rather go and see the symphony at the Markham Theater myself, or one of those funny silent motion picture shows at the Liberty. You know there are so many choices.
That's right. There are so many choices. You just wouldn't go downtown without seeing something. Now, would you?
The year was 1918. World War I had just ended, and the soldiers were returning home, and then came the Great Flu.
Thousands of Portlanders got very sick. Concerts and shows were canceled. Many public buildings were turned into hospitals.
Medications were not very good in those days. Many people died. The flu was very serious.
But everybody helped each other, just like they did after the Great Fire. And by the early 1920s, the flu was over and business was good. Really good.
The theaters reopened, more were built, everybody went downtown to see movies, and then there was radio.
The radio brought news.
In the news today, President Coolidge dedicated a statue in Washington, D.C.
The radio also forecasted the weather.
Rain today mixed with showers, showers tomorrow. The rain followed by showers and turning to rain tomorrow night.
And also entertainment.
And now it's time for the Lone Ranger. In this episode, the Lone Ranger is on his trusty horse Silver. Suddenly, Silver stops and neighs. A shot rings out. The Lone Ranger looks out from behind a rock tune in next week to find out what happens.
October 29, 1929, the radio brought this news.
Today the New York Stock Exchange collapsed. Millions of dollars have been lost. Millions of people are out of work.
This was the start of the Great Depression. Times became really hard. Many banks closed so people couldn't get their money. Thousands of people lost their homes.
Then a great man came along. He was in a wheelchair. He couldn't walk because he had a disease called polio. He was very kind. His name was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He said,
"Let me assert my belief that the only thing to fear is fear itself."
In 1932, Roosevelt won the election for president, and things got better, much better. There's a song he used to sing, and the whole country sang it too. It made people feel good and forget the Great Depression. It went like this.
We interrupt this broadcast at 7 a.m. today, December 7th, 1941. Planes from the Empire of Japan has attacked the United States Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Thousands of American soldiers are dead. The battleship Arizona has been completely destroyed. Stay tuned in next developments.
When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, the United States went to war against Japan. In her ally, Nazi Germany, this was known as World War II.
Portland played a very important part during World War II. Ships were built in Portland for the war, thousands of ships.
Extra, read all about it. All Japanese must move out of town.
After Pearl Harbor was bombed, many Americans worried that Japanese Americans might be spies for Japan.
Against all laws, including the Bill of Rights, the United States government ordered all Japanese American citizens to move inland and not live near the West Coast.
All Japanese Americans living in Portland had to move. This event was known as the Japanese internment.
Many of these citizens lost everything they owned, including their homes and their businesses, and it was very sad to say goodbye to their friends.
I don't know why we must move. It's awful. I don't know if I'll ever see you again. We have to go to the camp in Idaho. Goodbye.
I hope we can see each other after the war. Goodbye.
I go to school, same as you. I'm an American too.
I go to school, same as you. I'm an American too. Why, oh why is there war? Why does everyone fight?
If you are in Waterfront Park, north of Burnside Bridge, be sure to look for the stones that tell the story of the Japanese internment. On one stone is the apology by Congress to our Japanese American citizens. During World War II, a new city was built in North Portland. It was called Vanport because it was between Portland and Vancouver, along the Columbia River. It was so big that it was the second largest city in Oregon during World War II. Most of the people who lived in Vanport helped build the ships for the war. These ships were called Liberty ships. Since most men were off fighting the war, thousands of women worked in the shipyards. Vanport was so big that there were 6 elementary schools in town. In honor of all those who worked at Vanport and those who fought in World War II, let us stand and sing our national anthem.
We interrupt this broadcast today to bring you the news today. August 15, 1945, the Empire of Japan has surrendered to the Allied forces under General MacArthur. The war is over.
Hip, hip, hooray! Where is Vanport now? When the war ended, the workers and the Liberty ships weren't needed. People moved away.
Then in May 1948, there was a great flood, and what was left in Vanport town was destroyed. In only a few hours, the entire town was flooded.
After the flood, the land was sold. The Heron Lakes Golf Course, the Expo Center, and the Portland's Meadow racetracks were built where Vanport used to be.
After the war, things began to change. Portland grew. More and more businesses came to Portland. More and more people came to Portland. And before you knew it, skyscrapers were popping up everywhere.
During the 1950s, the United States fought a war in Korea.
Then during the 1960s, the United States was again at war, this time in a place called Vietnam.
When the war started, most Americans supported it, but when the war seemed like it would never end, Americans stopped supporting it.
Many Portlanders did not like the war. They protested and they marched through the streets.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't like your dirty war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't like your dirty war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't like your dirty war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't like your dirty war.
They held rallies, or Senator Mark Hatfield spoke against the war.
And they sang. These are two of the songs they used to sing.
How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must a cannonball fly before the forever band? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man walk up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? The girls have picked them, everyone.
Where have all the young men gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? They're in the army, everyone.
Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? They've gone to graveyards, everyone.
Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever
learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? They're covered with flowers, everyone.
Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? The girls have picked them, everyone.
Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
The Vietnam War ended in 1975.
Soon Portlanders were talking about other projects.
In 1980, a group of people wanted to build a square in the middle of the city.
The square would be used for all sorts of activities, concerts, speeches, and of course the Christmas tree.
The square would be very popular with everyone. It would be kind of like Portland's living room.
Except there was one problem.
This plan for a square is great, but how are we going to pay for it? You know all these bricks cost money.
I have an idea. Everyone who wants to help build the square can buy a brick and we'll put the person's name on it.
Sounds good to me.
And that's just what they did.
So if you're downtown at Pioneer Court Square, look down and see if you could see all the names on the bricks.
Each person whose name is on the brick purchased that brick to help build the square.
But
February 1996, it snowed. Then it rained. It rained a lot, even for Portland.
The rain melted all the snow. All the water started to flow into rivers.
And the rivers began to rise and rise and rise.
Mayor Katz said,
People of Portland, you must help us build a wall to save the town.
And people did help. People came from all over to build a wall downtown.
Thousands of people also helped clean up after the flood.
Nobody asked them to help. Nobody made them do it. They did it on their own.
And that's because they were Portlanders. Portlanders have always helped each other, and hopefully they always will.
February 96, it snowed. School was canceled and the wind did blow. Then when the trees were spring, it turned up and it started to rain and rain. And the water came pouring down. Rivers and streams flooded many towns. And the of the old storm came, yet it continued to rain and rain and rain. The mayor of Portland put out a call. People of Portland, let's build a wall. Mountains build a wall with boards and cranes. Let it continue to rain and rain and rain. The wall without wall was overnight. Held back the water was quite a sight. The town was saved and the sun came out. Hooray, hooray! All the people did shout and shout. Portland was dry by the warming sun. Now our show is all finished and done. We have told you about the good and bad. Portland's my hometown, for that I'm glad. Portland's my hometown, for that I'm glad. Portland's my hometown, for that I'm glad.